All right, here we are with Wealth Labs, and people are frustrated, confused. They're wondering what to do in these highly inflationary times. And there's a lot of people talking about making huge returns, even in these crazy markets. So I'm going to answer a few of these questions and give you a few insights. So Bernardo, he says, I keep reading about people grabbing multi-digit income in investments every month, even in these crazy days in the market, and fluctuations in prices. Any pointers on how to make substantial progress in income? I would appreciate. The cost of living at this time is getting really high. I really need good ways to increase my finance. All right, look, the first thing I'm going to recommend is to help you plug your financial leaks. So if you're overpaying the government by not having a good tax strategy, or if you have high interest rate loans that you haven't renegotiated or restructured, or if you have investments that are not creating cash flow, or you haven't been like a financial detective finding out where there's hidden fees or commissions or expenses that aren't necessarily adding to performance, and then looking and seeing if you have duplicate coverages or improper structure within your insurances. The first step here is to find money that's rightfully yours and plug the leaks. That's going to give you a great rate of return without having to take a whole bunch of risk or be in a game of uncertainty. Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about having huge returns in investments. We heard that a lot in cryptocurrency. We've heard that a lot in real estate. We've heard that in a lot of things, and yet that's a volatile market that goes up and down, and if you don't know what you're doing, can actually get you into a lot of trouble because that's more gambling and investing. I'm not saying to stay away from those things. What I'm saying more than anything is plug your financial leaks first, and then second, what is your investor DNA? Investor DNA. That is, what is your values? What are the things that are important to you? What are the things you're most competent at and that you like to learn about and that you have an aptitude towards? What are the things that drive you and that you get excited about? If we combine those things and look out there in the investment world, what is that for you? For me, that's all about intellectual property. I love writing. I love trading. I'm enjoying doing these videos right now. Intellectual property is how I invest. A lot of people invest in real estate. Other people invest in the stock market. Yet other people buy and acquire businesses. Like, you've got to figure out in your life, where are you going to focus your attention? This game is about focus, not diversification. And if you want to get good returns, it's about becoming a better investor, not just handing your money over blindly and hoping for the best. So yeah, I know people that have made good money in, they set up mines to mine Bitcoin. I know people that have made good money doing tax liens. I know people that have done well doing, commercial paper, and they're doing hard money lending. But I know people that have lost in all those same things. What's the difference? It's the person. So yes, the cost of living at this time is getting really high. So this is the time to double down on your skill sets, to look at the investments as an investment in yourself on how you can add more value, serve more people, and solve bigger problems. When you really get dialed in on those skill sets, which for me is everything from speaking and writing to improving my comedy and my performance, and it's all the things that are in the world of communication that help alleviate pain and frustration through entertainment and education. That's where I invest. And I'm getting good returns on that. When I did oil and gas, I didn't get great returns on that. When I did too much real estate that I wasn't really engaged with or didn't really love and I didn't want to learn about, that wasn't a good investment for me. When I invested in a retirement plan early on in my 20s, I knew nothing about the boardrooms or the companies that I was investing in. I didn't even know what stocks I held. I didn't even know who my fund manager was. And ultimately, that wasn't my best returns. The best return I've ever had is knowing what I'm good at and investing in that. That's not how a lot of society thinks or wants people to think. We're trained on diversification. We're trained on being so busy we don't have time for this kind of thing, right? But plug the financial leaks. Watch my other videos on saving tax or on detecting where you have fees inside of investment plans, or how you can restructure your loans or renegotiate the interest rates or reallocate your funds to pay things off that are less efficient so that you actually improve your cash flow. Hey, I know I'm interrupting, but it's because if you go to GarrettGunderson.com/quiz, you can figure out your money persona. When you know your money persona, you'll be able to make better choices when it comes to your finances, understand where you've made mistakes and missteps and what was the psychology behind that, and really improve how you view money and how you work with other people with different money personas. So GarrettGunderson/quiz, No charge. Discover your results and go ahead and comment and let us know what it was. Look at the videos on how to become financially independent within 10 years. These are the resources that are going to be super helpful for you, and I'm just really glad that you're asking these questions. But what I want to warn you against is don't chase these returns when people talk about multi-digit income in investments every month and all these things that they can get because they've got trading bots or whatever that might be. That's nothing to do with who you are. That's copying short-term trends in a market that might not be sustainable from a long-term wealth perspective. Have the abundance and the permission to invest in yourself, in your own quality of life, in the things that help you to become more valuable so that you can earn even more money, in recognizing the value you already have and extracting that in a way that then improves someone else's life. That's the game. That's the game to play there. So another question that came up was about, I had a video called 90% of life insurance policies are garbage. Is yours? Someone said, how do you feel about indexed universal life, or IUL? Well, I have a lot of insurance policies, like 27. One of the 27 is an IUL. My concern with IULs are the cost could change based upon performance inside the policy. So there's the current cost versus the guaranteed cost. That has to do with how many people per thousand have died that are in the bundle that own that policy in that age group. Well, that could raise those costs, or simple mortality that happens as you get older based upon the net amount from your death benefit to your cash value. Once you subtract that, that's the net amount at risk. And as you get older, that could increase your cost of insurance. And there's also caps on what you can earn when the market does take off, although there is the nice thing about not having, where it goes too low, because you've got a floor. So you've kind of got this corridor. How tight is that corridor of what you could earn? And what are those caps? Those are the things to kind of ask about. And my biggest concern is what happens when I'm hopefully at an old age to my cost of insurance. And what happens if I take the cash value out? What does that do to my guarantees or my cost of insurance? So there's some things I have concern and I would caution people with is, what are the costs? What could those costs be if things don't go according to plan? What are the levers the insurance company can pull to protect themselves? And ultimately, what does that leave you with when it comes to an IUL? Now, for a place to store cash, a place to cash out of, if you're not worried about the death benefit on long term, but a short term, there might be a really solid place for these, but I do feel like they're over promoted and oversold right now. All right, so these are the questions. I want to encourage you to keep asking more. The more questions you ask, the more answers I will have. And if I don't have the answers, I'll go find the people that do. What you're going to get here is candid, clear advice. Now, you might look and say, well, I've talked about life insurance a lot. I get it. That's where I started in 1998, peddling life insurance until the year 2005. I wrote a book, What Would the Rockefellers Do?, which is heavily based upon how to utilize insurance to create legacy and longevity and tap into cash value along the way. And it's a fairly popular book. So I get that that's been something that I've really focused on. But moving forward, what my real focus is how do people take back control of their financial house? How do they get that financial house in order? How do they create financial independence so they could swing for the fences in what they really want to do in life and no longer have to sacrifice and do things they hate in order to live a life they love one day, someday, far out there in retirement? I'm tired of people getting duped into investing money in something that sounds stable, but it's actually risky. I'm here to be an advocate to help you understand those risks. I'm tired of people paying too much in tax or being inefficient with their dollars and being frustrated and having that cause stress and frustration in their marriage and their life. I'm here to shed some light on that so that you can feel like you're in more control, so that you have more power of what you're doing, and that you have the types of tips, strategies, techniques, but most importantly, the frameworks that support you, so that you have the type of financial knowledge that gives you more clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. I know that you are your greatest asset, not a stock, bond, or piece of real estate. I know that if I can help educate you a little bit with the things that I learned, and there's a lot that I don't know. And in those things that I don't know, I want to bring the people in and interview them, and we'll go along the ride together. You can look over my shoulder, you can drop into those conversations, and we can figure out like this crazy world of crypto and NFTs and whether Bitcoin is the standard or why people would use Ethereum and what these other coins might mean or not mean in your life. That's why I have this thing, Time for Change, and I'm interviewing people all the time to learn about that with you. Now, there's other areas where I've got expertise. I do know a lot about taxes. I do know a lot about cash flow, but there's always people out there that I'm meeting, and if they can bring value to their life, I want to bring them to you. So let's go on this journey together. Go ahead and ask me your questions. If I know the answer, you'll get the answer. If I don't, we'll bring someone along the way. And there's just certain challenges people have put out there, so we're going to bring the tools like software to verify the philosophies of anything that's being talked about. So go ahead. If you think I'm full of shit, let me know it. If I tell you something that's helpful, well, that's great too. And if you're just confused and you have a question, feel free to ask it. If you want to tell me I should listen more or talk less or simply slow down with my speaking or I don't care. I just want to hear from you. Let's connect. Let's stay engaged. Let's see what we could do to help lift a little bit of the burden that money is for so many people so you can live a better life. And remember, build the life you love. It's one thing to get information. It's another to watch it in action. Wealth Labs gives you that lab feel. You're like, oh, this isn't it right here where something's being cooked up in the financial world, in prosperity, in dissecting what's actually going on. So if you enjoy these conversations and these teachings, well, click onto another video and drop right in for another Wealth Labs episode.